Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Only Stupid Answers. This is the show where we answer your questions about movies, TV shows, comic books, Peacemakers, Mans of Tomorrows, and so much more. I'm your host, DJ Wooldridge. With me is Roxy Stryer. Hello, Roxy.
Always DJ.
Always and forever. And then we have a very special guest today, Adam. Say hi to the kids at home.
Hi. Sorry about my background. It's a little in work in progress.
You should be. No, your background's fine, man. No worries. I don't.
Wait, what's wrong with your background?
I'm changing out the shelving, so all the shelves are empty. I just put some stuff. I just put it to make it look like there's something happening back here.
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty good.
It's it's so funny. In this recording remotely post COVID world, it's like we got to be on our own tech departments. We got to be our own set deck. It's off camera, but I'm creating a new shelf over here that you guys can't see for all my collectibles. But Adam, it's very appropriate that behind you there's a Superman S. I believe that's the Man of Steel Superman S. But
it is.
But
some figures back there.
It's appropriate for our conversation today because every week I'm like, damn, what are we going to talk about this week? Unfortunately, Mr. James Gunn delivered on a silver platter an announcement of the Superman semi-sequel. But we'll get into that in a minute. But before we do that, I'd like to open the episode with comments from a previous episode. This is going to be kind of an accumulation of a couple different episodes. Some of these comments are from when Roxy and I were talking about Peacemaker. Some of them are, we put up a What You're Into episode, which is normally a Patreon show, but we put up an episode as kind of a little treat for you all. So some of these questions are from that, or these comments are from that. So this first one is from our Peacemaker episode where we also talked about some of that brand new day behind the scenes footage we've been seeing filter out. This is from, and we talked about Tremel Tillman. And so in the comments, some of the people were throwing out who he could be playing in the Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like the Phantasm, who said, I'd love to see Tremel Tillman as Robbie Robertson. Him playing off J.K. Simmons would be amazing. Guys, how would you feel about Tremel playing Robbie Robertson in Spider-Man Brand New Day?
I guess I'd be fine with it, but I don't know. I don't really feel like, based on what little we know about the movie, it doesn't really feel like we're going in that direction yet with Peter's story.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. What about you, Roxy?
I just am really hopeful that he's not playing like Clerk number 2. You guys know I love him, and I think that he would take a very minor role in this. So I'm hoping that that's not the case, because I think he's extremely talented, brings a lot to everything. He would crush Clerk number 2.
Mm-hmm.
But so other than that, I think there's a lot of different directions you could go with him.
I love the idea of him playing Robbie Robertson if that was a character we were going to spend time with, because Robbie was in the Sam Raimi movies, if you remember the 2 scenes he was in. So it's like, I feel that if we have time for Robbie Robertson, J.K. Simmons, that'd be great. But I wanted him to get a little more screen time than Robbie got in previous movies. Matt Garcia, it's GARCXC9. So Matt says, if Tremel Tillman is going to be a professor for Peter Parker, make him Miles Warren, the Jackal. Give him an overall 3-movie arc that involves the obsession with Spider-Man and cloning. I don't know that we need the cloning, but I do think if he is going to be a professor, making him Miles Warren, that would be pretty cool. Tremel would make a cool villain. He'd be good.
He would make a really cool villain, full blown.
Yeah, just seed him in there. And then the good thing is, if he's Miles Warren, but he's not the Jackal yet, we could get him for multiple movies, which I think would be good.
I feel like if you're getting an actor of this caliber, I would hope that they would stick around for at least a couple movies.
Yeah. I think he'd make a killer. We wouldn't. I don't think we're going to do it, but I keep going back to, like, he'd be a really good Doc Ock. He'd do a great job as Doc Ock. Stacey Guetta says, I think Alien Earth. So this is now back to the What We're Into episode where we discussed Alien Earth briefly. I think Alien Earth is a good alien show because at their core, besides being alien gets loose on a ship movies, they have also been about corporate greed and how the androids have been programmed to get the alien back to Earth at the cost of the crew, even though it's dangerous. It's a dangerous and stupid idea. The show takes that all to new heights with these hybrid androids. That's really interesting. So Adam, we're going to keep it spoiler free for Roxy. You've been covering it on
Aliens
on Heroes Reforged. How are you guys feeling about? Is it on your main channel, or is it a Patreon
No, it's on our main. Yeah, it's on the main channel.
Cool.
We're really loving the show. It's been interesting. We talked about off camera or before we started recording a little bit about people's sort of like idea of what an alien show should be, and I feel like people have been so opinionated about the show, and I've never seen most of the people that are talking about the show ever talk about Alien at all in any way, shape, or form, even when Alien Romulus came out.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see people having such strong opinions about it. But I like the direction. I like the way that they've spread out a lot of the action stuff, and that we've taken a really big focus on the characters in the show and corporate greed, but also what does it mean to be a synth, a hybrid, and a cyborg, and how are those characters different? And I don't know. I appreciate the depth that it's adding to the Alien universe, because I do feel like, and maybe it's just me, but I have a lot of love for Alien and Aliens. I like Romulus. The other ones I can take or leave. Even something like Prometheus. I appreciate things about Prometheus, but they're fine. All those other movies I think are fine. Yeah. And the sense that I get from a lot of people is that they find the character building stuff not as interesting, and I find it really interesting. Yeah. And I'm interested to see how these companies basically I'm excited to see how all of these events like come to a head, and how do we end up where we end up with that 79 movie, because it'll probably tie in some way. But yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. I think the performances are really good. Babu Sise is the highlight for me. Is he
playing Morrow?
Yeah, he plays Morrow. He's
Morrow
so good.
And Timothy Olyphant as Kirsch are the two most interesting characters in my opinion. And they keep like circling each other. And I'm like, yeah, give these characers a scene. I want to see these two
characters are going to meet up finally. It's going to be so good.
Roxy, what?
Go ahead.
No, Roxy, I'm interested for when you finally watch it, because you've watched Fargo and you watched Legion, and I'm interested to have a conversation with you, because as the show goes on, I think it's a good example of the things Noah Hawley, now that I've watched a few Noah Hawley shows, things he is good at and things that I'm starting to think he might be less good at.
Did you end up not loving the ending of Legion like me, or did you like Legion all the way through?
The offer at the end of Legion season 2, I think, kind of kneecapped the show in a pretty significant way. Right. And I think they introduced some cool ideas in season 3, but I don't think they could ever really fully recover from a decision they made in Legion season 2. And I don't know if people watch the show like, DJ, what are you talking about? But for me, I remember so distinctly they make a pivot with David that I'm like, I don't think this works. And it never quite recovers from that. And so I'm seeing not necessarily the same thing in Legion, but it's like, or Alien, it's like, this stuff really works. This stuff's a little bit weaker as the show goes on, and you kind of get a sense of it. But I also am really like it. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts, Roxy, when you finally check it out.
Yeah, I'm interested to check it out, and I think that I will. I keep dragging my feet on it, but you know what's interesting to me is that on my side of social media, the side who has not watched Alien yet, all I see is positive reviews of this show. I haven't seen one negative thought on this show. And then hearing you guys kind of talk about it as people who have seen it, it seems like your internets are looking a little different than mine. Like, I have not seen one person say anything other than this show's the bee's knees. You have to watch it.
But I think it also might be, Roxy, that I wouldn't surprise me if your algorithm's keyed more towards TV people. And I think as a TV show, I think it's working. But and maybe Adam and I are seeing more people that I guess really care about the Alien franchise, like have really specific ideas of what the Alien franchise should be, as opposed to just engaging with it as a show on its own terms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely how it feels to me. And yeah, everyone who has talked about it or in any way, shape, or form, they are definitely people coming into it who know the movies really, really well, which is fine. But I think sometimes a lot of what happens is a lot of people judge the show based on what they want it to be and not just like taking it for what it is. Which, and that sometimes can be a little frustrating.
Truthfully, even that surprises me, because like, what do you mean what you want it to be? Because my first instinct when they announced an Alien show, I'm like, that's a dumb idea. So the fact that the show works at all, I think is kind of a minor miracle, because I don't think Alien as a franchise is built for that. I don't think the genetics, the DNA of it are built to like long form storytelling. It's like alien gets out on ship, alien kills. That's an alien movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
pretty
weird
straightforward.
to me. It's weird to me because I've been seeing the same thing where it's like, this isn't how an alien show should be. It's like, tell me in your mind what an alien show should be, because I think this is basically it. Anyway, it's interesting. We'll see. So these comments that I'm reading, by the way, are coming from our Spotify, which you can also leave comments on if you listen to the show on Spotify. Stephen Julian says, favorite comic book show on the internet's by a lot. And once again, I'm going to take that as this is our Peacemaker episode. I'm going to take that as a compliment to us. I think you're referring to our show. Thank you. Yeshu Wazalewski says, as a longtime fan of Foxy Shazam, we're talking about Peacemaker again, I love the new intro for season 2 of Peacemaker. Adam, Roxy and I talked a little bit about the new intro. And by the way, Roxy, just update on you on that. Once again, never skipping it. As I suspected, it is totally growing on me. I'm really liking it. Adam, how are you feeling about the new season 2 Peacemaker intro?
I miss Jennifer Holland's guns in the intro. Every time she would flex, I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Plenty of it in the show, though. We're seeing.
I know.
Yeah.
There's so much of it. I think it's a fun intro. I think the song in season 1 has more of a pop.
Yeah.
But also it was very unexpected. And I think now with season 2, I built it up in my head like, okay, it's got to be, just as good or better. And I feel like it'll never meet my impossible expectation. But it's fun to see I feel like there's more people in it this season too.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's fun. And I every episode we're like, what is that ending with all of them laying on the floor? Is
it looks not
towards
good.
Something like what is it
good.
foreshadowing? That's the thing that we keep coming back to.
Why are they all laying together like they're dead? That makes me think this season's
Why are
not
they
going to
stacked
end
on top
happily.
of each other like that?
I will say it is growing on me, but if they had literally just not filmed another frame and just done the season 1 intro again, I'd still never skip it. I'd be like, nope, this is perfect. I'm still not skipping it.
Yeah.
There's new people they had to include. Also, like,
true.
Based on where you are in episode 3, DJ, you're seeing multiple different iterations of different characters, and I like that that's actually incorporated into the intro. Like, now that when you're watching it, you're like, oh, that's why she's coming out this way and then this way.
There's actually a really incredible edit in the intro where it's John Cena and Jennifer Holland like caressing each other. They separate, and then Jennifer Holland comes out with another group of people, and it's like, that's seamless. That was a really good edit.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you might not have picked up on that in episode 1, but then when you're watching episode 3, you're like, oh, that's sick.
I was actually surprised that people did not pick up on that. And maybe because they haven't watched all the marketing and stuff, and like I saw clips from Comic-Con and everything, so I knew that there was going to be some universe jumping shenanigans. So like, oh, that's cool that they included this like alternate universe versions of these characters. But I would go back and watch people's videos and they were like, oh, I had no idea that that's what that was. I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't that obvious, and maybe I just picked up on it because I saw stuff at Comic-Con.
I think my favorite inclusion is Weird Dimension Alien Dude is also in the intro.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're like, no,
so
he's in it. I also having just watched episode 3 where Peacemaker's in the alternate universe. I think alternate universe Peacemaker's helmet looks really cool. I think that's a really fucking cool helmet.
It's a cool design.
It's a cool design, and his bike is stupid. But if McFarlane Toys came out with like, here's alternative Peacemaker with the bike, it's like, I'm fucking buying that.
I have shelf space for it. I'll put it right there.
I'm a sucker for that. I've got a whole on my filing cabinet. I've got 2 different Ghost Riders and Lobo on a Space Hog. I have a whole motorcycle collection over there. Anyway,
something that I think that is super duper obvious that I didn't catch on to, and now I've been looking at the comments on my reactions, and I'm like, oh my god! Unfortunately for you guys, you don't know that I still don't pick up on this by episode 5. So this is gonna be a huge issue when we get to 6. That neither me, Greg, nor John picked up on this. Is that in episode 3, when we go to the alt universe, there's not one non-white person?
Honestly, Roxy, like I didn't pick up. No, we did not pick up on that either. And I don't know. I was not looking.
Commented about it, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
for you guys. I never pick up on that.
I was shocked to see so many people talk about that because I don't look at the background like that normally.
Yeah. I'm like paying attention, like the words.
What are they talking about? Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I didn't notice that there were no extras like that. But I noticed that pointedly Adebayo's not there. But we also don't see Vigilante or whatever. But Roxy, if you recall from our episode 1 conversation, I'm like, we don't get any confirmation that he's Blue Dragon in this universe, that he's not racist. Like we don't.
Right,
we
don't.
Their relationship's great, but we get no confirmation that like I was immediately suspicious of Earth of the. I'm going to call it Earth 2.
That I say immediately, and we all are like, we don't know, and then they have that whole imp conversation that makes me think like, I don't know, something's weird about this, but the fact that. It's not cool that I didn't clock that we're in an entire universe and it's all full of white people and I'm sitting here la-di-da-di-da.
Well,
like,
and interesting. Now that you mention it, it's actually this is, I don't know if it was intentionally for cover, but the Sons of Liberty, I'm going to phrase it this way: the Sons of Liberty evoke very specific groups in our world, and so that might be a good way of throwing you off the scent. It's like, well, if these people exist, then. You know what I mean? Like, and we're treating them as bad guys, then, you know, maybe we're not in a super racist world. But now that it's like, that's interesting. I'm interested in for episode 3, and you guys know more than I do. But Rick Flag Jr. seems to have a very different vibe than the Rick Flag we know. And I'm interested to see if we unpack that more of why he's so different in this universe. But the one that got me, because I know alternate Earths, whatever. And somebody in the comments, Roxy, you remember we were speculating. I was speculating of who the Jarhead that Harcourt was seeing. And I was like, could it be Jon Stewart? And it turns out that he's not a Jarhead because he's... Rick Flag Jr. is Army, not Marines.
I asked you to guess, DJ, just in case.
Yeah, and it turns out I wouldn't have, because I thought I was trying to think of DC Marines, and that wouldn't have helped me anyway. But somebody in the comments was like, "It's Rick Flag Jr." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
Yeah.
But what got me was that we found out that Harcourt and Rick Flag Jr. and the main Earth were a thing for a second, and I'm like, well, shit, she's actually pretty nice to Peacemaker then, all things considered.
I would say buckle up.
Yeah, I was like,
strap on and strap in, buddy.
She's surprisingly forgiving of that, of him, if that's the situation. Okay, does she not know? Rick Flag Sr. knows. Okay, anyway.
I don't know what to say to you. Other
But here's the crazy thing.
Observation.
I'm so sorry. We're going to talk, Roxy and I are going to talk at length about Peacemaker, but here's the other crazy thing.
Adam, you're not invited.
Adam, you are more than welcome to join us for what you're into, but what we're into. But crazier than all that, I buried the lead. The craziest thing is the 2016 Suicide Squad is canon now. They mentioned June Moon. That movie, arguably one of the worst DC movies made, is canon. That movie happened.
Well, I've seen a lot of people talk about that. And the thing that I have to remind myself constantly is I wouldn't say that the whole movie is canon. I would say June Moon Enchantress is canon.
June Moon is canon, and she has a relationship with Rick Flag like she did in that movie. That, at least, is canon.
And like the way that they get there, it's kind of left, that's kind of an unanswered thing. It's like the same thing with the opening of episode 1, where they redo the Justice Gang, replacing the Justice League. So I think people, and this is the thing that I was worried about going into the show, any reference you make to anything prior to James Gunn taking over DC, people are automatically going to assume, well, if you reference this character, it means that Ben Affleck is still Batman, Henry Cavill is still Superman. It's like, no, they're cherry picking. He's said this like so many times. Yeah. They're cherry picking the things that they want to carry over, and it may or may not be an actor as well. So if they reference Harley Quinn, will it be Margot Robbie? It doesn't necessarily have to be. I
will say at this point, I was kind of on board with, like, I think you kind of need to, moving forward, recast Harley Quinn, just because Margot Robbie's star continues to be on the rise. It just adds a lot of baggage. And I would imagine it's tricky. Imagine her asking rate has gone up since she was originally cast as Harley Quinn, right? But it's like the more stuff they bring over, because like I think there's been talk of, like, he's been hinting around that Idris Elba returning as Bloodsport and stuff like that. It's like the more of that stuff you pull over, the harder it'll be to be like, all that's true except here's a different Harley Quinn. That becomes much more challenging.
Yeah,
I think that there's a very clear reason why we didn't get episodes 6, 7, and 8, and I think that reason might be Margot Robbie. And not for things that I know that you don't know, DJ. There's nothing has happened in 4 or 5 that's led me to believe that, other than I know there's a lot of theories that Superman's going to be in this show. And he may or may not. I'm not saying that he won't, but I think that we are going with Margot Robbie. And to Adam's earlier point with the cherry picking, he has been so clear about that. I mean, don't forget that in this universe, he references that 30 Seconds to Mars straight up exists and stuff. Like, you know, we're kind of just like having fun with it and enjoying it. And I really, really believe that the right choice, smart choice, is to have Margot Robbie. If they don't, I'm not going to be that upset, because I do think that there's about 4,000 actresses that could play Harley Quinn so well. It's not a role that I'm like, who could ever do it again? There's so many people, but I think that Margot Robbie is not going to be cast in a comic book movie anytime soon if it's not in that role, because it was so ingrained in her. Like, what are we gonna do? Cast her as somebody else in the DC or in Marvel? Like, she's Harley Quinn for the next 10 years, whether she's playing Harley Quinn or not. So that's why I kind of do think it would be smart on her end. Even you know, she's got her entire production company. She's making huge, big budget movies. She's crushing it. But if she wants to stay with this fan base, this is kind of the way.
It'll be interesting to see.
And to piggyback off of that, you know, like, you think of Jason Momoa, he's a great Aquaman, but I feel like the majority of people, when they saw that casting, they were like, but why not Lobo? So for him to move into that new role, I feel like is way easier than saying like, well, Margot Robbie's now going to play, I don't know, Batgirl or something, you know, whatever. You're like, no, but Harley Quinn, that's the thing that she's so good at. So
it's weird to see. It would be very odd. Like, even if she was cast as one of the X-Men, like, even if we're crossing over, it just kind of like she'd
be Jean Grey. You're like, but
I just think where she's at now, she just doesn't need that anymore. She doesn't need the superhero. You know, she's Barbie.
She was like it though. She seemed to really...
she seems to have fun with it.
And she's great. It's just one of the... Then you have questions about what the Joker looks like. It'll be interesting to see how, when and how they solve it. Roxy, we're definitely going to get into more of what those... Because I know I wasn't invited to the party, but for a lot of people, they got the first, what was it, 5 or 6 episodes to screen?
First 5 episodes. And in all fairness, I also wasn't invited. I have just attached my wheel to a wagon that is invited.
And so very pointedly, they didn't give those last few episodes, and I think we're going to talk a little about today about what that could be, because it does pertain to James Gunn's stuff James Gunn has been saying. We're going to wrap up the comments. We did get a really cool comment from Robert Goyette asking like what kind of story subgenre you'd like to see in the Alien universe. It was a great comment, Robert, but we don't really have time to dive into it now. We've gone a little long, but I guess I'll just throw it to the audience, to you guys real quick. Is there any specific... So Robert Goyette says, I love the opening of the mining colony in Romulus, and it made me realize I really want to see an urban set story like Mimic, Predator 2, and Evil Dead Rise, basically Blade Runner, but with xenomorphs, which I think we're kind of getting a little bit with the show. But is there, real quick, is there like, there's more to the comment, but we'll focus on that part. Is there a type of alien type show genre thing that would excite you?
Off the top of my head, nothing immediately jumps to mind, truthfully. Like, I'm pretty happy with where we're at right now.
Yeah. Roxy?
I don't know what they've done. Sigourney Weaver.
So this is not going to answer your question, Robert. I'm sorry. But the only thing I need from it, because of genre or whatever, I don't know. I will say, but I would like, the only thing I need to see the Alien franchise do at this point is I want to see Sigourney Weaver's Ripley interact with Michael Fassbender's android from Prometheus and Covenant. Because in my mind, those are the mommy and daddy of the Alien franchise. That's Michael Fassbender's the only thing worth pulling from the Prometheus movies. It's like those two. I want to see those two interact, and you've now and the new android kid from Romulus. Bring him in there,
David Johnson. Oh God, he's so good.
He's the best part of that movie, and so it's like if you get those three in a movie.
I haven't seen any of these. How weird.
Yeah, it's why. Which
I've missed this whole franchise.
Didn't you say
you and Tara need to just watch them now?
She just did, I think.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, similar. So unlike I've only seen Alien and Aliens and Romulus.
I've seen Alien. That is it.
And the Prometheuses.
But I also haven't seen any of the Predators. I haven't seen any of the Prometheuses. I've seen nothing other than the original Alien movie. It was good.
I don't know if Adam's going to agree with this, Roxy, but I think you're, in by and large, a much better ride with the Predator movies than the Alien movies. Because most of the, other than,
What's
in my
Prometheus?
opinion, Prometheus.
Prometheus is Alien.
It's Alien, but it's like a prequel, sort of.
There's only one?
There's
Alien Covenant is also a prequel to Alien.
It is yeah,
There's only one
Prometheus
movie
sequel.
called Prometheus?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Alien
Not
Covenant.
Like Prometheus 2.
Yeah, Alien Covenant is basically a Prometheus 2, a proposal from a lot of the same ideas. And I would argue it's a better movie, but it's still like.
When are we doing an Alien episode?
Yeah.
Having seen the first Alien movie, have I seen the best of the entire franchise?
Aliens is
I
pretty
think
good.
Alien and Aliens are they're my favorite, but they're two very different movies. Alien is a science fiction horror. Aliens is a science fiction action film.
Yeah. But
It's like Terminator with aliens.
But if you only if you're like,
horror.
what Alien movies do you need to watch? Alien and Aliens are the only ones you really need to watch if you care. Like the other one, Romulus is good. But Alien and Aliens are it. Real quick, I'd like to give a shout out to our charity of the month. Every month we like to choose a different charity to direct our wonderful audience to. This month's charity is translifeline.org. Trans Lifeline is a grassroots hotline and microgrants nonprofit organization offering direct emotional and financial support to trans people in crisis. They provide peer support for the trans community, have been divested from the police since day one, and it is run by and for trans people. So many marginalized communities are under attack right now, and that is especially true for the trans community. So if you'd like to help support trans people in crisis, I highly recommend you check out translifeline.org. Of course, it is just as vital to find ways to help support people in your specific state or your country if you're not in the United States. So be sure to check out orgs in your area and try and help reach people where they're at and meet their specific needs. Vibes are bad right now, and they're only going to get better if we put the work in specifically where we're at. Now back to the show. I do want to, I swear to God, gang, we are going to get to the Man of Tomorrow reveal. But I did want to, for the 90s kids out there, I'm technically an 80s kid, but most of my memories were formed in the 90s. So for the 90s kids out there, big news. We're getting a new Street Fighter movie. We've known that for a minute, and there's been a full cast announcement. We were given a synopsis. Set in 1993, estranged Street Fighters Ryu, played by Andrew Koji, and Ken Masters, played by Noah Centineo, are thrown back into combat when the mysterious Chun-Li, Kalina Ling, recruits them for the next World Warrior tournament, a brutal clash of fists, fate, and fury. But behind this battle royale lies a deadly conspiracy that forces them to face off against each other and the demons of their past. And if they don't, it's game over. Yeah, all right. So Roxy, I know, of course, you're a big
Street
gamer,
Fighter girl, as we all know.
As we all know. But Adam, do you have a lot of fun? Did you Street Fight as a kid?
Big Street Fighter boy. I mean, I would play it at like the Pizza Hut if they had the game like available. That's about it. I'm
talking about the good days where Pizza Hut had like the
side scrollers and all that kind of stuff.
Not just the arcade cabinet, but the buffet. Remember the pizza buffet?
Yeah.
Ooh, good time.
But that's my very limited exposure to Street Fighter, and obviously the movie from 1994 with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia.
Yes,
that's about all I know about Street Fighter. Is like playing it as a kid, seeing that movie. And that's kind of it, because they haven't really done much with the franchise, I feel like, since then, have they? Other than probably making more games.
Yeah, the games.
Wow, you've really been missing out. They've done a lot with the franchise. Catch up.
The games have been obviously huge hits, and they've done at least one other movie that was also a dud, unfortunately. Let's hit some of this cast, because they did a fun little reveal where they had the video game screen within the cast next to them. We got, as mentioned before, Noah Centineo as Ken Masters, Andrew Koji as Ryu. I'm going to pause right there. I'm going to ask your guys' opinions on all these things, but I do want to take a second. Have either of you watched Warrior? It was a
show. I've only seen the first episode, and I really want to. I love Andrew Koji. I think he's literally like maybe the hottest man living on the planet.
He's awesome.
And yes, you and I have the same opinion on him.
Yeah.
You think he's very talented. I too think he was made very talented.
Yes.
I think that he's awesome, but I've seen him in a bunch of different stuff. And I'm sorry, let me throw it back at you. Have you seen To All the Boys I Loved Before? Do you know Noah Centineo?
I know him from, wasn't he Adam Smasher in Black Adam?
He was in Black
Okay,
Adam,
cool,
yeah.
cool, cool.
And he was good. I thought he was good in that movie.
I don't know him from all my Netflix trash, okay?
But you're right, and he was good in Black Adam, and I think he'd probably make a really good Ken. But I do want to take a second. All 3 seasons of Warrior, I think, are on Netflix too, but they're on HBO Max. Anybody out there that does not watch Warrior, it fucking rips. Warrior is fucking awesome. Andrew Koji's fucking awesome in it, and he is perfect as Ryu. This motherfucker can kick ass. That alone has me excited for the movie.
So you're in, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm in. I am a little worried. So the guy directing it seems mostly known for Eric Andre shit. Like he's worked on episodes of Eric Andre's show. He directed. I think the only feature he's done was Bad Trip.
Eric Andre, who's also in this.
He's also in this as like an I believe when they saw the character, I'm like, who is that? I think he's an announcer character. I mostly know the 90s Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Turbo characters, which a lot of them are in this one. And so I'm worried is not the right word, but this might be a little more tongue-in-cheek than I would like it to be. But, hey, man, whatever. But I am cautiously optimistic. So we have Kalina Liang as Chun-Li, Roman Reigns as Akuma. That's wild that Akuma's in this movie.
Wild that Roman Reigns is in this movie.
David Dastmalchian as M. Bison. That's crazy, because if you guys don't know
That's
M. Bison,
a good one.
he's fucking... M. Bison's fucking huge. And David Dastmalchian is not typically... that
tall,
ripped.
but not huge.
Not ripped, shredded as shit.
Yeah.
Typically. Cody Rhodes as Guile, Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki, Eric Andre as Don Savage, Vijay Jamwal as Dalsim, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as Balrog, Jason Momoa as Blanca. That's wild because
that's crazy.
Blanca's a popular character. He's not like talkative or anything. It's like weird. Like, how much Blanca are we going to get in this movie? Orville Peck as Vega, who people are not familiar with Orville Peck. He's a musician, a famously masked musician. Olivier Richters as Zangief. That Roxy will know. That's the huge guy from Reacher season 3.
Yeah.
And that's perfect because what Zangief's main claim to fame is he's a huge guy. So it's like, that's perfect.
Noticeably, you and I talked about him for 25 minutes on an episode once just because of his sheer volume.
Yeah, he's massive.
You also look at the photo of Zangief and this actor, and it looks exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
That's another. Nailed it. You nailed it. Hiroki Gota as E Honda, Raina Vallandigham as Julie, Alexandra Volkanovsky as Joe, Kyle Mooney as Marvin, and Mel Jarnson as Cammy. So I think we mentioned a lot of the ones that stood out to us.
Did you say 50 Cent?
Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as Balrog. Yeah.
I think I'm just like incredibly uncultured when it comes to the younger generation of actors. I don't know who a ton of these people are, other than the obvious ones.
Yeah, I think
But maybe you do if you click on them and you look at them.
Maybe, but like Kalina Liang, never heard of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some of these I'm like, I have Orville Peck, not familiar with.
No, Kalina's only done one episode of a show called Foundation and pretty much nothing else that you would know.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I always assume that a lot of these castings are from series, and I admittedly am not the biggest like TV series watcher. I know.
That's why we have Roxy
I know.
here.
I am aware of the presence that I am in.
But you do know like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. So,
Yeah.
And that's TV.
And Cody Rhodes, I believe I saw that he posted a picture of his shadow, and it's anybody that's familiar with the guy has a very specific hairdo, and it's exactly
awesome.
that, which it's like cool, but also so this is going to be kind of a little jokey, tongue in cheek. We're not going to take it too seriously, which is probably the right thing to do. But
One time I did a 90-minute sit-down interview with Cody Rhodes.
How did that go?
It went really well.
Oh, good.
I was a little nervous. I heard he could be a little bit difficult to interview, and he was lovely to
Good. Yeah, I guess as the resident Street Fighter expert. What I was just going to say is by recently I mean a few years ago, I watched this movie called Triple Threat, which is on Netflix. I do recommend, if you're a martial arts movie fan like I am, I recommend checking it out. And there is a sequence that takes place in an underground fight ring, and I'm like, this this is what Street Fighter should be, man. We have a proud tradition of a bunch of dudes get into an underground tournament and beat the shit out of each other. That's all you need to do. And so this I guess is probably going to be truer to the game, which is probably the right thing to do, and embrace even the craziest aspects of it. It's just, I just want a kick-ass martial arts movie, and so like maybe this will be that. Like maybe this will be that. But how are you guys? Like when you say Curtis 50 Cent Jackson is Balrog, it's like, oh, okay, so this is going to be dumb. Is what this is. This is going to be. This isn't going to be a cool like kick-ass action movie. This is just going to be kind of a goof 'em up. Franchise picture.
Even looking at some of the, like Andrew Schultz, I'm like the guy who I see on Instagram who does podcasting. Like what?
Wait, that's so unfair.
That's my exposure, but that's my level of exposure to some of these people. So I don't know how to like. I don't know how to take it, but I see.
Started a show called Tires that was actually very funny. The reason you're not seeing it though is because he's on extremely conservative side of TikTok. So that's why some of his comedy's coming up. But he's like Shane Gillis's dude. So that whole comedy crew, they just made a show together. He's in it. Whether you like him or not, because of his conservativeness, he is constantly booking. He was in Upgraded, which is the movie with the girl from Riverdale and Marissa Tomei. He's been in like a You People. He was in also. If you saw that, he's been in a lot of shit.
For a second there, Roxy, I thought you were saying Upgrade, which is a really cool.
No, that is a great movie.
That's an awesome movie.
No, I'm talking about the Camila Mendes movie, which I figured if I said her name, you guys wouldn't know who I was talking about. So I said
Camila Mendes. Yeah, Riverdale girl. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, Roxy? I watched most of the first season of Riverdale.
Did you?
Yeah, we've talked about that.
I don't remember that.
Most of the first season of Riverdale. I think you know how shows used to have mid-season breaks. I think I bailed on Riverdale when they did that. I was like, go with God.
Yeah. I don't know one person in this cast. His name is Vidyut Jamwal.
Yeah, he's playing Dulcian. I think that might be he might be from maybe if I were more familiar with like Bollywood movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking at. He seems like he's done a lot of Indian films that I don't know. So that's cool. I love when stars transfer over because it's like they're just so good and so big that America can't ignore them.
Yeah, well, and it's also smart for this franchise because a big part of Street Fighter is it's people all around the world. It's the World Warrior Tournament, so embracing that. I am a little concerned that both M. Bison and Akuma are in the same movie, and it's the first movie because those are kind of the big bads of the franchise, and that feels like you're biting off a little more than you can chew right off the bat.
Who's the second one that's a villain? M. Bison and who?
Akuma, who's played by Roman Reigns. Akuma's supposed to be Japanese. Is Roman Reigns Japanese?
No, he is related to The Rock, so he's.
Yeah, I don't know that matters for Akuma, but it is weird because they posted that like the actor.
Oh, like the map.
Yeah, with the map, and so it's like Akuma, Japan, and then you see Roman Reigns, and I'm like, I don't think.
Let me actually look that up to make sure because I don't know about both sides of his family, but I have to assume no.
I don't know that it matters. I don't know that it matters for Akuma.
With Dan Hibiki, it says Hong Kong, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure Andrew Schultz is not from Hong Kong.
Yeah. I just know Akuma's a big part of Ryu's backstory, and it feels like both Ryu and M. Bison, or both Akuma and M. Bison. Pick one. Pick one of your big bads and stick with that. But hey, man.
I'm actually not getting an easy answer on this.
I'll tell you that I'm as excited for Street Fighter as I was for Mortal Kombat. The trailers looked cool. I was excited like around the marketing of it. And then the movie I thought was fine, but I'm looking forward to seeing part 2. So I feel like I'm going into that with the same level of excitement. I'm like, great, man. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll have a better opinion on how I feel about the movie once I see a trailer.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Adam, I'm glad you brought that up because I was also excited for a Mortal Kombat movie. I thought that'd be a cool martial arts beat 'em up, and then I thought that movie was pretty bad. So you know, we'll and so I guess maybe that's why I'm being cautious about this one, is I don't want to get burned again. Don't promise me a cool fighting movie based off a video game I like.
And then it's super mid.
Yeah.
I like Mortal Kombat and I like things like this. Although I think it really helps that I have no dog in the fight.
Yeah.
I just show up and I'm like, oh, that was a cool fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's cool.
if you're excited for Street Fighter, go to Netflix and check out Triple Threat. You will know, you won't be disappointed. And I think I bring up Triple Threat because that whole thing was like, we're going to pull in every major martial arts action star into one movie. And it's like, yeah, that's what Street Fighter should be. Just get all the guys that, it's like, instead of Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
Oh, damn. Tony Jaa, Scott Adkins, Michael Jai White. Okay. Top of the list.
That's what I'm saying. So instead of 50 Cent, get Michael J. White. What are you doing?
Yeah.
what are we doing? Anyway, Triple Threat, check it out. And Leonard Kim agrees with us 100%. Warrior Rules, and Andrew Koji is phenomenal in it. I was bummed. Roxy, what was that movie with Pennywise? That was an action movie. The Skarsgård that's Pennywise. It was.
It was really interesting. Kill Boys Killed.
Kill World. Boy Kills World.
Boys Kills World.
Yeah. Andrew Koji's in that, and I don't think he throws a single punch. And it's like, what are you doing?
Oh no.
He's good at it. He's very good at it.
It's underutilized though in that capacity. Yeah. I agree. Also, if you guys are thinking about watching Street Fighter, go ahead and check out Noah Centineo's other movie. Sierra Burgess is a Loser. It's a very good Netflix movie. Really right up your guys' alley.
Yes.
Also, The Perfect Date, another one that was really solid on Netflix of Noah's.
Yeah.
And as I said before, To All the Boys I Loved Before. So they're all very in a similar vein to this.
Roxy, you should check out. I think he did a picture of himself on set where it's him flexing. So it sounds like, based on what you're saying, either
let me go right. I'll be right on that, DJ.
Yeah, go check it out. I think that might be worth your time.
Control T. Let me open a new tab real quick.
Yeah. I think that might be worth checking out. And while Roxy's looking at Noah Centineo flexing with his long blonde hair for Street Fighter, let us transition over to
He's no Andrew Koji, but
if he throws himself into it, it's with Andrew Koji. Andrew Koji was also in Snake Eyes, which a movie I thought was I liked because I liked dumb 80s ninja movies, and that is what that movie. And Andrew Koji's great in that. He played Storm Shadow, and so it's like, yeah, Andrew Koji should be an action star. Correct? Yes, let's make it happen. So let's go over to what James Gunn posted this week on social media. He posted this image. Along with the reveal of Man of Tomorrow will be coming to July 9th, 2027. And if you're listening to the episode instead of watching it, what we're showing you is an image illustrated by Jim Lee. And I do want to just pause for a second. Could you guys imagine having Jim Lee and hey, Jim, can you do a little promotional photo for my thing? And not just Jim.
Do you think it was a phone call?
Huh?
Do you think it was a phone call?
I don't. Jim might have, because Jim Lee's the head of DC Publishing, so it might have been like a mutual thing, but it's just great. Fucking Jim Lee, oh my, that image alone is worth so much money. But it's probably a phone call.
Honestly, at this point, I'm like, you should be having comic book writers or comic book artists do all of your poster work and all of your stuff.
It's not just him. So James Gunn posted this Jim Lee photo. That you're right, Roxy. It probably was a phone call. But David Corenswet and
Nicholas
Hoult, thank you. Posted art images as well.
Cool.
From Jorge Jimenez and Mitch Gerrard's, and it's like, this is as a comic fan, this rips. But to go back to the James Gunn one, for those listening, it's a picture of Lex Luthor in his full battle armor, classic green purple number, with Superman leaning against him with a screwdriver. And they're looking kind of chummy. I pointed this on Blue Sky. They're looking kind of chummy, and I'm not the only one to pick up on this, that maybe the implication is they're teaming up. And it was pointed out to me that if you look at the bottom, there's a few screws
loose.
Yeah, implying Superman might have used that screwdriver to just tinker with the suit just a smidge.
Yeah, because they're not looking chummy. Superman's looking smug.
Yeah, he's just when you think you'd be able to get away.
Well, and it's also worth noting with these other images as well. In the Jorge Jimenez one, both Superman and Lex Luthor are facing the same direction, as if facing the same, either the audience or the same threat. However, in the Mitch Gerrard's one, they are fighting. So I wanted to throw to you guys, Adam, you're a guest today. We'll start with you. What are you thinking about these images? What are these images making you think of?
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I will say very exciting just on the surface. However, I might be in the minority, but Superman, they took a lot of time to make that movie. They shot it. They did principal photography 2 years before the movie came out. They spent a whole year doing visual effects. They're not going to have that opportunity with this film. they're probably going to shoot it next year and then do all the post-production work at the same time in order for it to make its 2027 release date.
Yeah.
So I don't, and I know James Gunn has talked about the script, which is great, but I at the same time hope that they don't fall into the Marvel trap of getting these movies turned around in 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the quality sometimes really suffers with those bigger budgeted or bigger scale movies. I think
Adam,
Thunderbolts is one of the exceptions.
Give me one example of that in the past 4 years. Just one.
But to play devil's advocate on that a little bit, though, is that I do think that you need significantly more time for the first movie of your universe. Like, this was laying a lot of groundwork. So I don't think every movie needs to take the time that the first Superman movie took because of what they were having to do, which is come up with the characters and what their relationships and what their dynamics are. And I honestly think that 18 months is not a crazy turnaround for a lot of these movies when they have already done a lot of the groundwork. Like,
I think it depends on how you structure it, because I do agree with Adam that I'm a little normally I'd be a little worried about the turnaround time. Right now, where my head's at when they say like July 9th, 2027, I'm like, we'll see. 2027 right now is an unreal year. You might as well say the year 3000. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, but I agree with you, Roxy, in that if you recall, we were getting a Game of Thrones season every year at a certain point, and so I think it kind of depends on how you structure it. If this, because I know James Gunn's been working on. My understanding is he's been working on the script for this for a long time.
right.
So if they built a lot of the structure of Superman with the understanding that, like, once this is done, this same apparatus, the same team, and everything is going to roll right into the next one. I don't think it's impossible to do that turnaround. So I guess it kind of depends on the intentionality, and I guess the proof will be in the pudding. Whether once we get the movie, because I just related, between Creature Commandos and Superman and Peacemaker. Watching Peacemaker, I just feel like James Gunn stretched a little thin. Is the impression I've been getting. It's like maybe a little bit more time. But anyway, Roxy, you talked about thinking that's enough time. Other than that, looking at the
not
images,
12 months. 12 months is crazy. 18 months.
18 months. Because you've been busy with a lot of stuff this week. So I think your first time seeing this was when I sent it to you.
Well, you were like, Gunn's announcement, Man Tomorrow, and I was like, just to be clear, what?
Yeah.
You sent me a link. I was like, this was yesterday. I was like, oh my God, this has been out for 24 hours and I haven't seen it. I know I'm under a rock right now. Holy crap. I've been living under a little bit of a rock, but here I am.
That's fine.
I was actually really excited about this because I like to know what's up. I like the announcement that this is my birthday week of 2027. Loving the July. That's 2 years after the first one. I thought that the art looked great. I think that, after you sent it to me, DJ, I was driving and I started listening. Like, I know I'm excited about something when I listen to a bunch of podcasts, like, what could this possibly mean?
Yeah.
And people talking about what team ups this might lead towards, and a lot of people theorizing that this is the official announcement that we're going to get a villain team up against our heroes team up. Now, I think that none of us know for sure, obviously, but I want to go back and rewatch. I think I watched the animated movie Man of Tomorrow for DC Movie News, but I want to go rewatch and look at the different pairings and team ups, and like people talking about how they feel like that this means that Lex and Brainiac are moving forward together, or like whatever your Parasite, whoever. Like there's a lot of different iterations that we could go with, but I think it's a very cool idea that we still haven't had a villain team up movie in all of our comic book eras that has been like, holy crap, this is the definitive, this is the thing that we could do, and DC could do that, and that would be really fun. I'm looking in the comments, Mike Joyce with Brainiac, Mongol, other aliens. It's fun to kind of theorize. So I thought this was a cool announcement. I thought that it did a good job of spreading across the internet, of people being like, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I see. And that's exactly what things should do. Keep the buzz going.
So I want to throw to you guys, especially since you've seen a little bit more of Peacemaker than I have. James Gunn on social said, this was to promote the most recent episode of Peacemaker, watch the Man of Tomorrow prequel, aka Peacemaker Season 2, airing a new episode tonight on HBO Max. How do you think this show possibly Peacemaker segues into Man of Tomorrow?
Well,
That's a good
Supergirl
question.
is before Woman of Tomorrow is before Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So why are people saying that Peacemaker is segueing into Man of Tomorrow?
I mean, James Gunn is. He's saying watch the Man of Tomorrow prequel, aka Peacemaker Season 2. So he's calling Peacemaker Season 2
Well, it is a
prequel to Man of Tomorrow.
prequel in terms of it comes before, but I don't think that actually necessarily means that it has to segue right into.
I mean, he apparently, somebody commented on, I don't have this, but he was like, yeah, Peacemaker leads directly to Man of Tomorrow. As in the events of, not necessarily like the last scene of Peacemaker is the first scene of, but the events of Peacemaker Season 2 set up Man of Tomorrow.
I love James Gunn. I think sometimes the way he words things, he words it in a very specific way to either throw people off or to really make them like hype it up for themselves. Because he also said it's not Superman 2. And I'm like, okay, so it's not Superman 2 in the sense that it's like picking up exactly the events of the first Superman movie to tell another anthology-style story. It's just telling the next chapter of Superman's story in the DC universe. Fine, sure, call it Man of Tomorrow. I feel like with this whole thing about Peacemaker, I think Peacemaker, the last 3 episodes, are going to set things up that are going to have a huge impact on the entire DC universe, not necessarily just Man of Tomorrow. But I think also maybe part of the reasoning why Lanterns and Supergirl gets maybe a little bit left out of the conversation is we don't know how much, well, Lanterns, I guess we have a better idea, but we don't know how much of Supergirl is actually going to take place on Earth either.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he's not pointing directly to Supergirl, because that story is so off-world for a lot of it that what happens on Earth won't have a direct impact on it. But maybe for Man of Tomorrow, it will, which would make sense. And Lantern seems like it's very much its own thing in a lot of ways, just incorporating characters that have already shown up in the DC universe. So I think it's more of that. I think it's more of story decisions and implications for the future of the DC universe will have a role in Man of Tomorrow, not necessarily that, like you're saying, the last scene sets up that movie specifically.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Roxy?
It's possible. I agree with what you're saying, but just theorizing for a second. I mean, it's possible that we get the introduction in this show of somebody like a Martian Manhunter, and that somehow is the through line with Man of Tomorrow, or that we get like a big reveal. Do I think that we're getting Brainiac in Peacemaker Season 2?
I was just thinking that as you were talking. It's very possible.
If you had asked me a year ago, I said, no, what? Now you're asking me now. It's like, maybe. And so I do think that potentially a lot of this has to do with the news that Clark heard about his family and where he comes from. And I do think that even though we're not calling it Superman 2, that's obviously something that's going to need to be further addressed. One of my complaints about the first Superman movie, it's not really even as much a complaint, but more like something that I'm hoping for in the future, is that we didn't really have that much time to unpack the ramifications of what it is like to come to a planet and think you're here for one reason, but really be here for another, and learn that your family did not send you there for the reason that you believed, and what that means about you and your blood, and what that means about you as a person, and what that means about where you come from. And if you fully even believe that, James Gunn has been clear that this is not going to be retconned, that this is what they're going with. I really hope that that's true, because I do think it would be kind of egregious if it was like, but the message was actually wrong. And then it's like, okay, so Mr. Terrific's just an idiot. Like, what? But anyway, I think that if we're sticking with that, there are certain people who might have more information. One of those people might be Supergirl. One of those people could be Brainiac. One of those people could be Martian Manhunter. So you start to think about, like, who are the people that we could introduce in Peacemaker that would directly impact the future of Superman and this news that he heard.
Yeah. I think my main takeaway is, if your little 10-year-old loved Superman, it's very important that they watch specifically the orgy scene in Peacemaker season 2, so they understand what happens, what's going on in Man of Tomorrow. I think that's the main takeaway there. Let's get into, as we unpack this image, I think a good way to go forward is through some of our patron questions. We'll just go and take them in order. Seiya-sun asks, although Gunn's Superman resulted in a good movie, there was a lot of trust placed on the audience to accept things. My question is, should the sequel be a more down to earth movie that is also a semi-origin movie for both Clark and Lex? Perhaps as use the backstory that they both grew up in Smallville, or maybe Lex did something that Clark didn't fix as a kid and then has come back to bite them, allowing for the team up and origin story. Do you guys think this movie should backtrack a little bit and lay out a little bit more of the groundwork of the universe?
I feel like answering this question would be having me take on the same opinion as the person. What was the person who wrote this?
Seiya-sun.
Seiya-sun.
Yeah.
I actually don't agree with Seiya-sun's assessment of the movie, that they were asking the audience to do a lot. I didn't feel that way necessarily. So
Yeah.
I feel a little bit differently. I think it's a totally fair thing to feel, Seiya-sun, but that wasn't my takeaway.
Yeah. I also think it kind of depends on, you only need to it's kind of what they've been doing with continuity. You only need to say as much as matters to the story at hand.
Right.
So unless Lex and Superman did have a history, which is not the implication I got, beyond the 3 year, we learned that movie Superman's been active 3 years. Beyond that 3 years, there wasn't a lot of implication that maybe they grown up around each other like Smallville. So I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think the movie gave us all the information that we needed that was important to the story. And I don't think we need that. I don't think we need to go backwards in time to try to lay the groundwork or try to explain too much. I feel like a lot of times when you do that sort of stuff, it's, we get too much into the weeds of lore. Just move forward, introduce whatever the threat's going to be. If Lex Luthor and Superman have to team up, great. What does that mean? How does that change the character? Like, what are the character stories at that point?
Yeah.
That's kind of more what I care about than like, oh, were they friends growing up? Like, I don't know. Just go watch Smallville.
The longer that Clark and Lex spent together as kids, the less smart I think Lex is. And that's problematic. I think it's really important with this dynamic that even though we despise him, we think that Lex is brilliant.
Yeah.
And
he would know immediately. He would know.
Yeah.
Right.
I
so the
apparently
pieces he put together, like if their childhood was spent together and he's still like, who is this? It's like, well, okay,
apparently Dan Harmon was part of a pitch to DC years ago where they pitched a Lex Luthor movie, and apparently Dan Harmon suffers from face blindness, and so they gave Lex Luthor face blindness, which is why he doesn't recognize.
Bird blindness?
Is that bird blindness? Yeah.
Dude, Tim Meadows is so fucking funny.
He's so funny.
I do think stuff like the bird blindness is like. Are we pushing the comedy too hard? Are we pushing the comedy button a little too hard on this season?
No, I love it.
But it works because it's him. Thank goodness.
God,
and he leans in hard. He's like, it's a real thing, man. Like, you believe it. I was like, sure, why not? It's dumb. It's ridiculous, but I'll take it.
The most Tim Meadows line delivery he's done on the show so far was like, why'd you call it a duck? Is that a funny joke? It is, but you shouldn't have done it. And I'm like, yeah, that's a Tim Meadows joke, man. That was perfect. Okay. By One asks, do you think James Gunn will try to his hand at the death and rebirth of Superman? If so, do you think we'll get a reign of the Superman?
Oh, God.
I don't want in the second movie, or do you mean
I
ever?
think generally. I think the implication is generally will he ever tackle the death and return of Superman?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Later.
We're all in the same place.
So later.
I'm not even saying so later. I'm saying
I don't even want to talk about that right now.
We did it in Batman v Superman. We did it. We're done. It's done.
Superman and Lois has done it really well.
Yeah.
So well. I mean, the best that it could have been done was done.
Seriously.
And Lois. Yeah. So I'm not saying never, but punt it so far that I can't hear it about it right now.
Yeah. Seth asks, given that Lex and Superman have teamed up against Brainiac in the comics before, do you think that's what we are hinting at with the image of that James Gunn posted? Brainiac would also give them an out with the message of Superman's parents' sense, though I personally think that it'd be weird to retcon that message almost immediately to kind of undercut the film's message. Do you guys, if they are teaming up, do you think we're teaming up to fight Brainiac?
Well, I think the first draft or one of the drafts of Superman had Brainiac as the villain, James Gunn's Superman. I think I read that. I think I read that somewhere. So if that's the case, I totally understand why he wouldn't do that for the first movie. That is kind of a big thing to do. And in some ways, it's very similar to Man of Steel and Superman 2, having this like, I presume Brainiac his origin will be Kryptonian in this version. It just kind of keeps repeating that same storytelling idea of like, oh, the aliens who are the villains come from Krypton and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think doing it in this movie would make a lot of sense, and it gives reason for why these characters have to team up, especially if our Superman has not met Batman yet and he doesn't have that ally he can rely on who has the smarts and the tech and the wealth to try to defeat Brainiac. Lex Luthor is the next best answer to that. And if that is the case, my hope is that at the end of the movie, there will be an alliance with Brainiac and Lex Luthor, and we will start to form the Legion of Doom, because I want that swamp ship so bad.
Yeah. Because we already got the Hall of Justice.
Come on, man.
I want Lego to make a Lego set of that Hall of Justice. I'll buy the shit out of that. Anyway,
Seriously.
Roxy.
It's gonna be $300, man.
Do you think that's going to stop me? Do you think that's going to stop me, Roxy?
Yeah. I know. I'm super with Adam, and I think it's always fun to see enemies having to work together for a greater good, and then to see like, oh, actually, this is why we don't work together.
Yep.
Because you're evil and you should be working with evil people, and I have to take you both down. So yeah, they're because I feel confident in this universe. Unlike when I was talking every day about the DCEU, where I felt like we kind of needed to get everything in, because I was like, this isn't going to last long. Like, this does not have legs. We're not going to go 20 years. Yeah. I feel very confident that we could spend a movie teaming up, and then we could spend a movie after that going against each other. We don't need to like fit it all in one movie, because it's going to disappear. So
yeah, I think it has to be. We need fucking Brainiac. We need it, man. Like, come on. It's been we've been making Superman movies for 50 years. I would say for most people, who are the two big Superman villains? I think a lot of people would say Zod, because he's been in two of the movies. But I think for a lot of people, it'd be Lex Luthor and Brainiac. And so it's crazy that we've never done Brainiac, man. It's crazy. And we've also had like, don't worry, gang, Superman Returns 2, Brainiac. Well, there's no Superman Returns 2. Okay, don't worry. Man of Steel 2, Brainiac. No Man of Steel 2.
Superman lives. Brainiac. I'm like, you son of a bitches.
All right, James Gunn, you finally need to deliver the Superman sequel that has fucking Brainiac in it. That's on you now.
Yep.
That's kind of what I'm saying, DJ, about like feeling confident that there's going to be future movies.
Yeah.
Like, luckily, I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like an empty promise like it felt 10 years ago.
Other than stuff he doesn't have control over, which was what I was mentioning with 2027. It's like, yeah, man, if we get there, man, if 2027 happens, sure.
we all just, need to hang on tight.
Rido asked, do you think Gunn will keep Batman at arm's length for now? And do a proper World's Finest team up movie down the road, or do you think it makes sense to plant those seeds in Man of Tomorrow and maybe even do an Act 3 team up? Do you think Batman's going to show up in Man of Tomorrow?
Could he show up? I mean, yeah, anyone could fucking show up in a post-credit scene, a mid-credit, whatever. Do I want to see Batman show up and them have a third act action sequence? Hell no. No, please don't do that. Remember when they put Wonder Woman in BVS? As awesome as she was in that movie, like, we really could have just had the Wonder Woman origin movie first and then led to those sorts of things.
Batman?
Right.
Yeah. Well, is it an accident? And the answer is yes. Is it
How many more hours you guys have?
Is it an accident that the Batman Part 2 comes out also in 2027?
They're filming at the same time.
Oh.
DJ, you're still on the Robert Pattinson Batman train.
I'm okay with that. I am okay either way. I do think, I don't know if we mentioned this, but when I watched The Monkey has that guy from White Lotus season 2. I'm blanking on his name. And when I was watching that, it's so weird. Theo James. And it's so funny because he's not playing a Batman-like character.
That's how you think of Theo James?
Yeah, but when I was watching, I was like,
put some respect on Divergent's name.
This guy could do a Batman. Theo James could do a good Batman. But I kind of think, whatever. Like Adam said, how many hours do we got? We don't need to get in the whole Batman thing.
No, Brendan Slinar. That's who it's going to be.
We'll see. We'll see. But I think... no, not for this movie. And truthfully, for a long time, I've been on the train of like, I'll bet you, because James Gunn is like Adam hinted to, it's like, is it a Superman sequel? Is it? Not really, sort of. So I've been on the train of like, I bet you it's a Legion of Superheroes movie. I bet Superman and or Supergirl.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they're gonna go to the future and whatever. And so part of me is kind of glad, like, oh, it's just Superman and Lex Luthor teaming up. It's just a Superman movie. That's nice. That's nice. You know what I mean? So I don't need Batman showing up in this. I do think there might be merit in just saying like, hey, we're going to let Matt Reeves do whatever he's going to do, but Robert Pattinson's our Batman. Is it the same Batman? That's up to you guys to in your own head canon, but it's the same actor, and we're going to move on from there. But Roxy, do you think Batman's going to show up in Man of Tomorrow?
No.
Okay. It also kind of depends. Is he going to show up on Clayface? He's more likely to show up in the Clayface movie.
I think that is more likely. I'm still hoping no on that, but that is more likely.
They're filming it. I've seen set photos that's happening.
I'm really, really excited about Clayface.
Oh my God. So excited. I just watched the Batman the Animated Series episode. I forget what the Clayface one is called.
Feet of Clay. It's good.
Yeah.
Those are good episodes.
It's amazing. It's so good.
But you know who's in those episodes, Adam? Batman.
Stop it.
People are making a joke about Clayface, and they don't understand. Like, I actually am. It's one of my most anticipated movies. I'm so stoked for that. I'm almost as excited about that as I am for Supergirl.
Oh, hell yeah.
For me,
the fact that they're making a Clayface movie, I'm like, that's crazy. I'll take it. Thank you.
For me, it's Lanterns all the way. That's the one I'm excited about. Give me that Lantern show.
Gonna be awesome.
What do you love television or something? Who are you, me?
Yeah, well, it's not just that, Roxy. You know, it's the Rebel Ridge guy. Anyway, he's so good. Okay, so I'm gonna merge. So Leonard Kim and Mike Joyce, who are both in the comments today, thank you for joining us. I'm gonna kind of merge their questions for time's sake because I think they're related. Leonard Kim says, is there any concern that James Gunn might be getting a bit too involved in these projects? And then Mike Joyce asked, do you think Gunn is too focused on Superman? So I think it's the dual question is James Gunn a little bit too involved in everything?
I don't know. Do you think Feige's too involved in Marvel? So no, I don't.
Yeah, I think that's a really great comparison, Roxy, because obviously Feige is the main creative lead, and I think now more than you could before Endgame argue that maybe he is too involved. I think maybe, but he's also not writing and directing those movies. So I think that would be where people might be feeling that, even though I do think you're making an appropriate.
Yeah, but he also has Safran to do all of the things that Feige's had to do.
Yeah.
You know, like he just gets to be creative on this.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do all the other stuff. So until I see something of Gunn's that I think sucks, then no, I don't think he's too involved because I think I don't think we're going to see for the next 10 years Gunn directing 50% or more of Marvel, DC stuff. Like, I think that we are seeing him kickstart his universe, and he's going to do a lot of delegating. We're already seeing him do a lot of delegating. So I don't find it strange that he wrote and directed the first 3 things that were out the gate.
Yeah.
I think that was smart. Hey, I got to make sure these do well. And I also think that he's super dedicated to this instead of being like, well, if that thing didn't work out, I didn't direct it. So it was somebody else who did. He's like taking ownership of if this works, it's on my shoulders. And if it doesn't, it's on me.
Yeah, I completely agree with Roxy. And I think if you are going to take the position of being the co-head of a studio and you're in charge of the creative aspects of it, you have to kind of be involved in everything. And it's not, I feel like a lot of James Gunn is not the only guy, obviously, who's working on this stuff. Like, he has a writer's room of people, and yes, he wrote Peacemaker, Superman, Creature Commandos, but he's not the only director doing all of that stuff. You know, there's multiple directors on Peacemaker. There's an animation director for Creature Commandos. His really main focus was Superman, and now his main focus will be Man of Tomorrow. And he's overseeing all of those things. So yeah, like, he has his hand in everything, but I would also want that if you're asking me to trust someone that they know what they're doing and that they're taking these characters in this universe in a direction that I'm excited about, I want them to have their hands involved in everything. And yeah, if suddenly, maybe after like a couple years, things start to go sour and they're not good, then I think you can reevaluate. We can have a conversation about that. But for now, I'm happy with where it's going and where it's at.
I think the real test for DC will be in the years leading up to, I guess, next year, leading up to Man of Tomorrow, because that now we're going to be really seeing, Supergirl's a different creative team, Clayface is a different creative team, Lantern's a different creative team. And so this is going to see what the universe is like, because I do think while I liked Superman a lot and I like Peacemaker and I like Creature Commandos, I do see they all have even though they're very different, they all have a very Gunn's voice to them. And I could see that wearing thin, the saturation wearing thin. And I'll give the example from the comics world where everybody loved Brian Bendis. And then Brian Bendis was writing every Avengers book. And then everybody kind of got burned out on Brian Bendis. Jeff Johns, everybody loved Jeff Johns. And then Jeff Johns was writing every DC book. And everybody got burned down on Jeff Johns. So I think and I think this is a different situation, as you both pointed out, because he's focusing on Superman. And both Creature Commandos and Peacemaker season 2 were in development prior to him being the guy in charge. And so there is an element where this is kind of just how the cards were played. Like this is just kind of how it played out. But I am very interested. They've promised that each of these projects will feel distinct. And I think Clayface, Supergirl, and Lanterns are going to be the proof of that. And I think that'll be very good. If that is true, I think that'll be very good for the long-term health of the DCU. So I'm excited to see that. But I did like Superman. To answer Mike Joyce's question, no, I don't have a problem with him being so focused on Superman. I'm fine with Superman being the spine of the DC universe.
We need it
because he's Superman, and also it's Adam Roxy. We're all Superman fans. Yeah, we've been starved for good Superman, not Superman content, good Superman content. So so please and thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, so please and thank you.
You didn't watch the Superman and Lois finale, did you, DJ?
I did.
Oh, you did.
And I liked it. Yeah, I did.
You only watched part of the last season, and then you came in for that.
Yeah, I did. I watched the first few episodes, and then I dipped, and then I came back, and it was good. It was good. I'm also a big fan of My Adventures with Superman. I think that show is
so
quite
good.
Yeah.
You bring that up a decent amount.
I think that's good. But as Adam, at least as far as movies go.
Yes, cinematically, yeah.
A little bit of a drought.
Yeah, we needed it. So no, I don't think he's too focused on that. But I would like to see a Batman and a Wonder Woman get in there eventually. We had a comment at some point was like, well, yeah, I think the Arrowverse proved that you don't need a Batman. I'm like, shut up. I want a good movie with Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman in it. Don't take that.
Also,
from me.
No diss to the Arrowverse at all. I think it's great. Arrow was very much Batman coded in that.
Yeah.
I don't think the Arrow proved that you don't need a Batman at all. Actually, that was not my takeaway.
Yeah. So I want whether it's Robert Pattinson or Brendan Sklenar or Theo James. I want Superman.
Stephen Amell.
He's doing that's new Suits show, Suits LA.
It got canceled.
Oh, did it? Yeah, he did that Heel show, which I heard was good, and I wanted to check out. He's done a few problematic things offset, and then he was doing that Suits LA show. It's like, I'm not checking that out. And then, but hey man, him and Grant Gustin, at least as far as conventions go, those boys they're set for life. They're good.
Yeah, they're doing the Lord's work.
Where's Grant Gustin?
I think he's taking a break and doing family time, which if I were him, I'd do the same thing.
He was so tapped on the Flash by the time they were done.
Was he?
He's like, I'm just going to go be a dad for several years now. Bye.
You definitely couldn't tell that by watching those last few episodes of the Flash that all of you are done with the show. All of you are very done with the show. Yeah. Adam, let's wrap this up. Where can the kids find what you're working on?
You can just find me on Heroes Reforged. We're doing reactions to things like Alien Earth and Peacemaker. We're going to be watching some movies. I'm going to try to convince Augustine and Hector to watch Weapons with me because that movie was so good. Yeah. So good. Yeah. On Instagram and Twitter and all that other bullshit.
Have you all watched Barbarian? Have you had them watch Barbarian? Because that's also good.
Not on camera, so I don't know if they've seen it, but I have.
That's also good. Roxy,
Adam did an interview with Greg for Real Rejects this week that I've been editing all week for social stuff. So Adam's been on my screen nonstop. And at one point in the interview, no, you were great, DJ. At one point in the interview, he said that I was his people and he liked running into me. And it was very exciting.
Yeah.
It's like going home when I see people like Roxy and Greg. I'm like, oh, good. Thank God.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I was like, one of my people's coming on. His people. That wasn't what you just asked me, DJ. Just thought I'd throw that in there. You wanted to know where you could find me?
Yes.
At Roxy Stryer.
Check that stuff out. There'll be links in the description. If you're over here, thank you for supporting the show. If you want to watch live, you can do that over on Patreon. There's also exclusive content over there. You can also check out my personal channel. Just yesterday, I recorded the next episode of Trash Talk, which I think it'll be interesting. I'll be interested to see how people respond to it. It's a little bit different than the conversations I've had before. So go over, check that out. That'll be dropping in the middle of September. Thank you for everybody that joined us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.